Today's webinar is going to be on the Uber app, using the Uber app, how to, again, we have another presentation that we focus on downloading the Uber app, creating that account. This is more for those users that already have an account created. So for those users, we'll go over all of the different things that you can do with the Uber app, how you can order a ride, what kind of economic options there are, because even once you choose to go to a place, you choose your destination and where you're coming from, there's still multiple different types of Uber drivers or types of drivers that you could have come and pick you up, different types of vehicles. We'll also go over some safety features, some safety options, things to consider before getting into the vehicle, things to check, verifications, things like that. Tips for having a great ride, how to rate your driver. So that's really important. You can rate your driver, let them know how they did, and your driver can also rate you. So kind of you both have a star rating of how good of a rider you are and how good of a driver you are. And then we will also go over how to get verified on the app. All right, so requesting that ride. So the first step here is going to be turning on your phone, unlocking it, and finding that Uber app on your phone. Once you open the Uber app, you're going to see at the top a search bar that says where to. This is where you're going to click to see where you want to go, to type in that destination. And you can see here a couple of locations that maybe I've been to in the past that are showing up in case there's a place that I frequently Uber to, that'll be available to me pretty quickly there. But when I hit this where to button, this is the next screen that I see. And this is the plan your ride screen. So right here, the first step is going to be to enter your pickup location. You can do that one of two ways. You can click right here or tap right here in the enter pickup area and type the address that you would like to be picked up at. Alternatively, up here, there is a share current location button. If you press that button at the top, that will share your location with the app, and then the app will be able to immediately place your location in this enter pickup area so that you don't have to type that address. When you click this button, you're going to see a few different options because it's going to be requesting access to your location at that point. So when you click it, you'll likely see three different options. You'll see share while using, always share, or deny. So that is saying either I don't want to share this location, I'm denying, or I want to allow it always, or that very first option that I would recommend, which is allow while using the app, which means anytime that you open the Uber app, now the Uber app has access to your location data. But if you don't open the app and it's just off in the background somewhere, it doesn't have that location data. So it can be really useful if you're concerned about your privacy, about these apps having your location. You do have that option to only allow it to know your location when you actually use the app. And again, oh, Cole,
And yes, just want to make sure. Can you hear me okay
I
now?
can hear you much better now. Yeah.
Alrighty. I'm always concerned when it's cloudy outside that
Mm,
that's going to affect my Wi-Fi. So bear with me. Thank you so much for that patience. And Dylan, just to kind of take a step back for everyone that is joining and might be like, okay, I'm learning about Uber. Step one. I do want to get a sense from the group. Does everyone here have the Uber app downloaded? Yes or no? Because we're going to go into all about navigating through this app. And I just want to make sure that people are there. We do have a whole nother class on downloading the app, which may be coming up soon. Okay, so we have a mix of both so far, but please feel free to add that to the chat. And so what we'll do is we're going to kind of go from there. We'll take some feedback, and we can answer some questions towards the end if there are questions about downloading the app, uh, payment setup, and things like that. Um, and so this is where I'm kind of adding some of those announcements at the beginning. If you do have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, or to ask a question. We want to make this conversation as engaging as possible. So, sorry about the Wi-Fi issues. Dylan, go ahead, take it away.
all right. So after you've added that pickup method, either by clicking here and entering the address manually or by sharing your location. You'll have that ability, or you'll have that pickup location here, and then you choose the where to option. Where do you want to go? So when you're choosing that, you'll click into the Where To option and you'll see your keyboard appear for you to begin typing wherever you want to go. It doesn't have to be an exact address. If you type something like Walmart, for example, it's going to locate the Walmart nearest to you, probably show you a few different options. So if there's one specific one you want to go to, you'll be able to select it from there. Alternatively, like I was saying before, you might have some previous locations that you've been to, and those will show up right below that where to section. So just in case you have somewhere that you go very frequently, you'll have that available so you don't have to type it in every single time. Some destinations, specifically airports, if I were to click on this airport button, it would then have a secondary destination window asking me, what part of the airport do you want to go to? So when you have these very vast locations that you're going to, like colleges are another one, sometimes it's going to ask you, well, what specific part of the campus or the specific part of the airport do you want to be going to? Which terminal, for example? So again, if I were to click here, it would show me those options to choose from. Now, requesting a ride after you've put in your destination, so you can see here at the top, I've selected my starting address here, and then my ending address is this Albertsons down the road, and I can see that it's going to take 10 minutes to get there. So it's immediately giving me that information, and now I get to choose which type of Uber ride I'm going to request. So the default option is going to be UberX. So UberX is just going to be basically any four-door car that an Uber driver is on the app with. There's not really a lot of limitations here. It's just who's available in your area right now, who can get to you the fastest to get you where you need to go. So UberX is that standard option that's really good for just getting the quickest ride you can without having to be too specific about, no, I need someone, for example, that can handle pets, as you can see with the second option. So I can see, a little bit more money here for that ride, but now I can bring my dog, and that's going to be okay. In this UberX ride, it would not be okay for me to bring my dog with me in this ride. If I wanted to bring an animal or some sort of pet, I would need to select that pet option so that Uber driver is prepared. For example, if you wanted to bring your dog and that Uber driver was allergic to dogs, they've likely very much set themselves to not be chosen for pet options. So again, just helps to spread that out to give the riders the people that they should have and not cause any issues like allergic reactions or certain things like that. You'll also see comfort as an option. So comfort is going to be essentially just a more comfortable ride, a newer vehicle, a nicer vehicle, maybe something that's more of a luxury brand or something like that. So that comfort is going to be for that. You'll also have electric options. So if you wanted to specifically request an electric vehicle, you could do so. And then you can also see here that each of these options has a 4 next to the icon of a person. Well, that's saying that you can have up to 4 people in this ride. Whatever ride you choose here, they can accommodate 4 people. Well, you might need more than that. So as you scroll down in this rides area, you'll see other options. Like here, there's economy where I see Uber XL, and that can hold up to 6 people. So again, you'll have additional options there as you scroll through. You'll have the option if you're a woman, you'll have the option to select a woman driver. So if you are maybe nervous, you don't want a man to come and pick you up, you have that option in the Uber app. Um, I couldn't display that because unfortunately I'm not a woman. So whenever I tried to find the screenshot for that, it doesn't exist in the app unless you're a woman. But again, you'll have that option for you.
That's very interesting, Dylan. And I know that there are a lot of other options as well, such as wheelchair accessible vehicles.
Yes.
They have other types as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think you really hit the big one there. There's that accessibility option if you have a wheelchair or something like that. Again, the goal there is letting that Uber driver know what to expect. So if you select that ride, letting them know that you need assistance with the ride, you have a wheelchair, you have some sort of accessibility issue where you need help, that Uber driver is now aware and can, not only just pull up and then wait for you to get in, but they can get out and help you if they're aware that that's the kind of ride you've requested. Um, Other than these I've shown, and then well, actually, let's just go to the app. So I'll actually go ahead and demonstrate this portion for you here. Let me switch over to this one. Oh, all right. Oh, I have to stop sharing my screen first. All right, so here I have my device, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my Uber app. And you can see it looks a little different, but I still have that enter pickup location here. That's the important thing. So when I click here, I get taken over to this plan your ride screen. Again, looks a little different than it did in the presentation, but you can still see the same things here, like plan your ride, pickup. So I can hit the pickup location. I could start typing a location. Let's say I was at Albertsons and I wanted to get picked up from there. I can start typing that, and then I immediately see Albertsons here. And now my pickup location is selected, and let's say I wanted to go to the zoo because that was an easy thing to click. Uh, so we've got that, and now it's showing me the different options here. Now, obviously, this is a much longer ride, so we're seeing much higher prices here. But you have the Uber X, we have that comfort. There's wait and save, so that's an option where if you were not in a hurry and you just wanted the ride to come when it could come, then you could choose this wait and save. The ride would come a bit later, but you would save a few dollars there on that ride. You would have that Uber XL option again for more people. Sorry about that. And then the economy options here. So maybe opposite of the wait and save, you do have a priority option. So this is saying, no, I'm in a hurry. I need someone to come as soon as possible. And you pay about $3, $3 or $4 more, it looks like, to get that priority coming at 10:57 as opposed to 11:09. So again, saving you about 14 minutes there. Have electric vehicle options, the pet, like I was saying, courier. So this is a good option if you yourself don't need to go anywhere, but you need to maybe send a large package to someone, like maybe a huge box of stuff that you need to just take to someone downtown. And obviously trying to ship that through USPS would be very expensive because the bigger the box, the heavier the box, the more expensive. But here, I could hire a courier for $42. Again, probably much cheaper if I wasn't trying to go all the way across the county, like in this specific example. But I could have a courier come and pick up that item and take it to the destination for me. There's also
So,
the Oh, go ahead, Cole.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Two things that I'm interested in that I was just able to see on mine were actually below premium. And we had the WAV and then assist. Um, I think those would be very interesting. And you mentioned the wheelchair accessible vehicle. The other one that I thought was interesting is assist, which, from my understanding, that's, certified drivers can provide specialized assistance. Do you have anything else to add there?
Just that, as you said, they do have that specialized assistant. So instead of just having a vehicle that is accessible for wheelchairs and can hold that, which is what that WAV is saying, Assist is saying not only do we have the capacity to take that wheelchair or whatever else with you, we also have the know-how to assist you with getting into the vehicle if you have trouble getting in or out of the vehicle, things like that. Um, yeah.
Absolutely. So listeners, remember it's always good to just jump into the app, put in, you're not going to be charged unless you actually click, choose that black submit button, and then a driver would have to confirm. So you're not going to get charged anything for just looking. So we highly recommend you take some time and try to look through some of those options because there are really amazing options for you or your loved ones if you need some assistance. We often get questions about, will the driver help with my groceries? Or what if I have a walker? Or, different things like that we really want to kind of provide that information. And a lot of that information is sitting within the app for you to check out.
Right. Let me switch back over. Oh, are we having like we have an audio issue here?
Hmm. Thank you, Narda, for mentioning that. Are you hearing that with both Dylan and myself?
Cole, can you mute real quick? Does it still happen if Cole is muted? Interesting. Okay, so it's on my end. That's
I'm not hearing that, Dylan. Um,
hmm. Well,
Adrelia, are you having that same issue?
hmm. Might be a double feed issue on your device, Narda. That might be the case. I'm not sure.
Okay, so what I would recommend, Dylan, maybe you keep going, and thanks for letting us know, Narda.
Yeah. All right. So those are those ride options. So once you've requested that ride, so now you've hit that choose button that we just saw at the bottom of the ride options down here, this choose. After clicking that choose button, you're then going to pick the exact spot that you want to be picked up at. So you'll see this little black pin, and you essentially can take your finger and slide this map to make this pin appear wherever you'd like it to be. So what that means, like for example, I'm right here in this house. But let's say, because I know there's a little park area over here that has a gazebo, and maybe that's where I'm sitting at waiting for my ride. Maybe I don't want to walk all the way over to my house just for this Uber driver to come to the house when I'm already sitting right here ready to be picked up. So you can take and drag this pin over to be on top of this middle area, and then the map that the driver sees will direct them straight to that spot as opposed to this exact address that you provided. So it's just a way for you to fine tune the pickup area. You've provided the general area, or not even the general area, the exact address, but then you could decide exactly where at in that area that you want to be picked up. And once you're ready, you would just click confirm pickup. And from there, that would essentially complete this and have that driver or have a driver be assigned to it after a certain point. It takes a little bit of time, usually like a minute or so at least, before a driver is assigned. And then from there, you'll be able to actually watch on the map as that driver is driving over to you. So you'll be able to see exactly when they're about to pull up. It's very convenient to see there. Now, Cole mentioned, aside from just riding rides, there are other things that you can have with Uber, other than just riding. You can actually rent a car through Uber and just fully like have a car that you drive, that you just wanted to rent here. You could reserve a car for the future. So if you know you're going to need a car tomorrow morning, it's at 6 a.m. and you don't want to have to like fiddle with the Uber app at 6 a.m. You could do it the night before, set up that ride, be prepped for it, and then you just walk outside when you need to be picked up so that you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, we just received an email last night before this webinar, and one lady said, I really could use this education because I was at the dealership. I had to bring my car in, and I couldn't figure out, how to get back and how to, go to and from while my car was in the shop. So rental cars, even just a ride to or from the dealership. That's what's so important about kind of learning how to use this and maintaining that independence in your day-to-day life without having, to call a friend or a loved one to come pick you up.
Yeah. Then we also have the services for seniors. This is going to immediately provide those quick options for things like wheelchair accessibility, any kind of assistance that you might need, things like that. I was really interested. This was a new one I didn't know about, which was this hourly option. So maybe you want a driver for the day. Maybe you've got a bunch of errands to run and you just need a driver to just be your driver for the whole day. And you need, say, I need a driver for 5 hours. You could go here to the hourly section and hire a driver who will just be your personal driver for the day. Take you where you need to go. Wait, you go into the bank, they're waiting for you outside. You go out. It seems like a really nice experience to have if you need it. Um, and then the intercity option. So if you're trying to go like from downtown San Diego up to LA, for example, like they have these intercity options that are specifically for making those larger trips that have vehicles to accommodate that. Um, then we also have the delivery options. You can have anything delivered, similar to things like DoorDash or Postmates or things like that that you've heard of. They also have Uber Eats, which you may have heard of as well, where you can get food, you can get your groceries, electronics, pretty much anything you can think of wanting. You can scroll down from here, and I see baby, health, pet, gourmet, so all kind of topics on different things that you can have delivered from various stores. Essentially, the limit really is just what stores are around you, or close enough to you that you're willing to purchase from. Because these Uber drivers will just go to whatever store you want them to go to and pick up whatever you've purchased.
It sounds like the opportunities are endless.
Yeah, yeah, they certainly added a lot to Uber. I'm it's after we had this partnership and I started putting the class together, it was just really impressive because it's been honestly probably a couple years since I've used Uber prior to this. So now seeing it again, how the apps really come a long way, and there's this all these new features and things you can do, and yeah, it's really cool. All right, so they also have some safety features here. So you have the ability in Uber to share my trip. It's a feature called Share My Trip. And essentially, this is something where anytime you have an Uber ride, in after the ride has been established and you're looking at that screen, you request the ride as normal, and then essentially you swipe up on the app to see the status of your trip, and you'll see a Share Trip Status button. This will allow you to share your trip status with up to 5 people, friends, family, anyone that you might just want to know exactly where your location is, just as a safety precaution for riding in this Uber. So a really good option to have that essentially the share location option with your friends for this.
So, Dylan, I think we're about to start an amazing conversation about safety and security of rideshare. And already in the last couple weeks and months, we've received tons of feedback from the community about what it means to them to jump in a taxi or to jump in an Uber. To For us to gauge the room, if everyone could maybe plug in, if you have any concerns about Uber, or if before today you had concerns about riding in an Uber, what are those? What are some of the things that concern you about taking a trip, let's say to your friends or to run some errands or to the doctor's office? We'd love to hear that so we can use that as a way to kind of converse about those things and address some of those things. Also, that will greatly help us and the team at Uber to make the app and the platform better and to make it more safe for older adults. So, if you could, or if anything comes to mind, feel free to leave that in the chat, and we can talk through some of those. I see someone already said safety of who is picking you up, but more importantly, putting in credit card details. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. I think, Dylan, if we have some time at the end, we should definitely talk a little bit about the payment method, because I think that's going to be of concern.
All right. Yeah, and then actually with the safety of who is picking you up, I think actually that's what the next slide is gonna. Nope. Okay. So whenever you have the trip created, you've requested your ride, you're going to see the details of who's going to be picking you up in the app. So you'll see, Thomas is going to pick you up in a gray Prius in 3 minutes, and the license plate is XYZ. So when that driver arrives, immediately you can see if it's a Prius or not, if it's the right color. That is immediately a green flag if it is. But then you also want to check, look behind the car and see if the license plate matches. When you get in, make sure the name matches. Every Uber driver is going to have their photo, like a profile image. So you'll be able to see that compared to the person in the driver's seat. And again, between those three verifications, you'll have a good sense that whoever is picking you up is who has sent to pick you up. And they do verify these drivers. They're not just letting anyone just hop on Uber and be a driver. So again, if you're going through those steps to verify, usually when there is something nefarious going on with an Uber driver coming and doing something. It's usually someone pretending to work for Uber, who just is somehow intercepting or figuring out that you've requested a ride. Usually in popular areas, maybe something like an airport, where they know people are just standing outside waiting for Uber, and they might just drive by and like wave them on as if, yeah, I'm your Uber driver, and hope that that person doesn't do those verification steps. So again, if you're going through those steps of verifying the car matches, the license plate matches, the person looks like the profile image that's in my phone right now, then you should probably feel pretty safe that this is the correct Uber driver picking you up. Now, in your account section, you're going to see what's called a safety checkup. So from here, you'll see several options, different things that you could look up, safety preferences, choosing your favorite like a method of calling a ride, things like that. But trusted contacts is a good one as well. So you can designate emergency contacts so that Uber will be able to contact your emergency contact in case of an emergency. So essentially, you would go to your account section down here. You would click on Safety Checkup, and I would really recommend going through all of these. You can see here on my account, again, I don't use Uber very often in the past, so I haven't verified or things like that. So if I wanted to have an Uber driver come and pick me up, I would have much better luck if I did verify my profile, which again, you would do. I believe it asks for a driver's license. And essentially just verifies that you're a real person and not some bot. It also verifies that you are who you say you are. It'll take a picture. So the profile picture you have, it takes that in that moment. So you can't just upload an image, I don't believe. You have to take that picture, then they try to match that to your driver's license. And that same kind of verification also happens on the driver's side. So again, you can have that peace of mind of knowing that that verification process you're going through, that driver also had to go through not only that, but probably a more rigorous one with like a background check and things like that.
Yes, and I can add to that, Dylan. So looking on the directly from the Uber website, drivers are background checked, of course, before their first trip, and they basically conduct ongoing checks. Those are built into the Uber platform. They have to pass an annual check to continue utilizing the app, and their criminal history, their driving history as well is checked, and that's why Uber really asks for feedback always, because they use rider feedback to continually evaluate drivers as well. And all of those other methods, such as uploading the driver's license, having a business license to operate Uber as a driver as well. So those are some of the things that you can learn about. I can even actually share this link here in the chat if you'd like to learn more about some of the background checks that are conducted on drivers. And what I'll share is I am a frequent Uber rider. So I often use it to go to the train station or to the airport, etc. Mostly for travel purposes. And I do have, as you see with Dylan on the top, you have his 5 stars. So you have ways where not only we are rating the driver, but the driver is rating us. I think I have a 4.99 star rating. So maybe that was at some point when I was in college. I might have, I don't know. I won't go into those details. But so I see we had a hand raised. Let's see who that was. Was it Carol? Did we have a question? Carol, would you like to mention that in the chat, or feel free to let me know and I can open up your mic.
While she's typing that question, I'll just mention a couple of other nice safety features here. This audio recording is a nice option where you can essentially have your rides be recorded, have the audio recorded, and then this PIN verification. So essentially, you can have whenever you get into the ride, that rider is also going to have to enter a PIN. It's like an extra verification step for both of you when you get into the ride to further verify it's the right person.
And it
Oh,
looks
looks
like
like, yeah.
that was a mistake. That's okay, Carol. Thank you so much.
All right. So yeah, once you choose that the trusted contact there, it'll pull up your contacts for you to select from. You'll just search for whoever you want to add, and then just check on call in case of emergency. And again, that's just setting up that emergency contact for your Uber account. So just some tips for having a good ride, making sure that you're safe, you're getting where you need to go. Like I was saying, you're going to check that pickup location before you confirm. Make sure that you've confirmed not only that it's the correct address you want to be picked up from, but that you've moved that pin to be exactly where you plan to be to be picked up. That's going to help that driver appear exactly where you need them to appear. You're also going to want to make sure that you verify the driver's name, the car, the license plate before you get into it. You want to make sure if you have that PIN verification as well, if you've set that up, you'll verify that PIN with the driver as well. You always want to sit in the back seat, unless of course you've got like four people, like your maximum capacity. Someone's probably going to have to sit up front in that passenger seat. But by default, you should probably be in that back seat, not only for comfort but for safety as well. And then if you need help, there is a safety button in the app that you'll see as you're like on the screen in the ride. Again, it's kind of hard to show that one without requesting a ride here, but again, you'll see that the safety button as you are as you have that ride pulled up where you can see the driver's name, the car, the license plate that you're verifying. You'll see that safety button as well.
So, Dylan, we did have a question as to whether you can request your favorite driver as, as a safety precaution.
To my knowledge, that's no, but Cole, do you know if that's something you can do?
I also did not know that. Let's see. Apparently, it's possible in select areas. I
Hmm.
doubt in most large cities, unless you have a relationship with that driver, it would be it would be possible. But um, hmm, usually, from what I'm seeing from a quick search, we might have to get back to you on that question. Um, Shiona, I think, asked that question. It's not available in all locations. Um, Apparently, you can add a favorite driver um, to your
Hmm.
favorite while rating them. So we have to do a little bit of research on that. But that's a fantastic question, and I think that's also very important on the safety and security side. If you feel just better riding with one rider or with one driver, excuse me, um, frequently.
Yeah. All right. And like Cole was mentioning about rating those drivers. So at the end of your Uber ride, you're going to get to rate that driver from 1 to 5 stars. That driver will get to rate you as a rider from 1 to 5 stars. And then this will also be where you'll choose the tip that you'll provide, things like that. So, and anytime you request a ride or a driver, that driver that initially takes the ride, you'll get to see what their star rating is. And in that moment, if you see, oh, someone accepted and they've got a 2.2 star rating or something, maybe you don't want that driver, and then you'll have that option to deny that driver, I forget exactly what the word they use, but to remove that driver, and then a new one. You'll just be entered back to the pool of waiting for a driver to choose your ride. So probably you'll drop that driver, and then about a minute or so later, someone else will pick it up. It essentially just gets sent out to the other drivers in the area, and one of them will likely accept it. And then verifying your account. So when you verify your account, when you first create it, you're going to be an unverified user, like what you see that I am here. So verifying is really important. That's going to not only make the driver feel safe, but it's also just in general going to verify you as a person to Uber, as a real person, not just some bot. So that driver might feel safer picking you up if you're a verified driver, as opposed to here, where again, all I really had to have to set this up was a phone number. So I didn't have to verify my account here. And as you can see, like I've done a ride. But again, for the most part, you're going to have more success with drivers picking you up if you do verify your account. Um, and then you would just verify that with a driver's license. So when you're in your account area, if I click or if I tap this not verified option right here, it's going to pull up this option, which just kind of sends you through a flow that you can read through, verify your identity. It'll say how we verify, what you're going to get, and then what those drivers are going to see. So again, they're only going to see your first name and the fact that you're verified. So even though you're providing Uber with your driver's license, and that seems like a lot of personal information you're giving to them, it is important for their verification process, and they're not going to be showing any of that information to the driver except for your first name.
So, Dylan, we had a fantastic question, which is probably a great thing to address. Deborah asked about the cost per mile of an Uber ride. And I thought about that and I was like, wow, that's a very interesting question. So I'll go out ahead and say the cost is going to vary based on so many different variables. Obviously, mileage is probably the major variable and major driver, no pun intended, of that cost. But the time of day is going to be impacting if you're asking for a ride in the middle of the city as soon as a baseball game, ends and everyone's calling a ride. That's typically what they call a surge time, where there's so many people looking for rides and so few drivers. So the cost might go up, and so on and so forth. So there's some market variables. When I do a quick Google search, it says Uber's cost per mile typically ranges from $1 to $2 per for standard rides, like Uber X. This fluctuates significantly based on your city, traffic, demand, and the type of vehicle you select. Um, the one thing I would say is that just like Dylan was showing us, when you plug in where you're going to and where you're coming from, you can see in real time what it would cost before you jump into that car, before you even click choose Uber X, Uber XL, Uber Comfort, whatever that may be. So before you commit to paying for that ride, you will know exactly how much that ride will be, and then you can determine if you'd like to leave a tip afterwards. Anything else to add on that, Dylan?
Just just reiterating the last thing there. I think, well, no, you kind of hit it all, Cole. Um, yeah,
Of course, the tip I think we can talk about, we have had some feedback where, people have asked about tips and, is it obviously a tip is not required. It's certainly appreciated by drivers. But we always recommend that you're doing the tip within the app. Um, you should never have to tip in cash. That is probably a less secure method. I mean, if you wanted to, by all means, I guess you could, but it's definitely more secure to do it through the app with the payment method that you have on file.
definitely. And then one final thing that I would mention, that we also mentioned in the other class that we do, but it's just such an important feature that I think is important to mention in both here, is this simple mode. So this is a new feature that Uber added. And essentially, it just simplifies the app. It doesn't change things too much. So I've kind of went back and forth on it on my app, and really it just gets rid of all the moving extra nonsense in the app. So things. Let's go back a few slides here.
And we also have a video on Uber Simple. If
Yeah,
I can show that, Dylan.
yeah. So something like this, like all this extra stuff, like videos and things. Sometimes there's like extra banners at the top, and again, can just get rid of that. I'll go ahead and let Cole share that video.
Alrighty. So we have made a really cool video, which I'm excited to share with everyone. Let's make sure that we can see and hear it.
Hi, I am Maria.
Can you hear that okay?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Today, we will set up Simple Mode in your Uber account. Simple Mode offers an easier user experience with larger text and icons and less distracting clutter. Step 1. Let's set up Uber Simple Mode by starting at the home screen. Locate the accounts icon at the bottom right-hand corner of the app. Scroll down on your account page and tap on Uber Simple Mode. Activate Simple Mode to begin using it. Let Simple Mode know you are a senior. You may want to select a larger text size for the app. After configuring Simple Mode, tap the back arrow to return to the Accounts page. Continue by tapping the Home icon at the bottom left corner. Step 2. Let's take our first ride using the Uber app.
So I'll take a quick pause here. So that was our video on the simple mode, which we wanted to tie together with calling a ride, because the simple mode, like Dylan mentioned, is kind of a way where you can simplify the experience within your app and not have all these different kinds of pop-ups and maybe, promotions and things like that. It's just a more simple experience. For everyone that's listening that says, I want to see this again, we'll absolutely be sharing this out in our emails and on YouTube, and also in our follow-up recording if you would like to check that out for yourself and enable senior mode as well. Um, and then the rest part of the next part of this video is really just booking a ride. And I think, Dylan, if you think that makes sense, we can kind of let the video keep playing so you can see what that experience looks like. I know that a lot of older adults might feel, because it feels like it's moving quickly. You booked a ride, a driver's coming to you. Let's try to put ourselves in the situation of someone calling a ride and see how it works so we feel a little bit more comfortable with how that process goes.
Tap Get a Ride Now to request your ride. You should enter your pickup location and your destination. Make sure to confirm the correct address under Select a Location. Uber offers a variety of ride and price options to choose from when booking a ride. Some options are Comfort and UberX for regular rides, Uber XL and XXL for big groups and luggage, Pet Rides for riding with a pet, and Wheelchair Assisted Rides. Using Assist guarantees you get specially trained drivers for riders who may need extra help. The payment method that you set up will be listed above the Choose button at the bottom of the page. Tap the Choose button to continue ride booking once ride option and payment is selected. Tap Confirm Pickup if the address displayed in the app is correct. Once your Uber ride has been confirmed, Uber will find a nearby matching driver. It may take a moment. Be patient. To cancel a ride request or edit the ride details, tap Edit Ride Details. Tap on the pencil icon to edit your ride details, cancel ride to cancel, or close to return. Once a driver accepts your ride, it will display the driver and vehicle details in the app. Uber will display pickup location, driver and vehicle license plate, and driver contacts. You will see your driver's current location as they make their way to you.
He drives fast.
If you have difficulty locating your driver, you can give them a call or send them a text message. Before getting into the car, make sure the license plate matches the Uber app details. Once your ride is over, you will have the option to rate and tip your driver. Tap Submit when done. Congratulations! You have completed your first Uber ride using Simple Mode. If you're having trouble, call 1-833-873-8237 to book an Uber ride with a toll-free number. Need more help? Scan this QR code with your phone camera to access a step-by-step how-to guide.
Alrighty. Well, so that is one of our videos that we have made. Feel free to share in the chat what you think. We're obviously working through some kinks and some of the voice and those types of things, but we thought that that would be helpful just because Dylan and I could walk through the experience on his phone, but then he would actually have to call an Uber ride, and I don't think he wants to pay for it right now or to have a driver show up at his door. So that's our video on Uber Simple as well as on booking a ride. Please let us know whether it's in the chat right now or in the survey that we'll send with you all later. Whether you think the video is helpful or if you'd like to see any changes to it. And so I want to talk. I know there was a question that was asked about how much do you tip a driver? So I think if you saw at the end that there was an option you could, tip $3, $4, $5, or you could even click a custom amount. So it's totally up to you how much that you want to tip and whether you want to tip at all. And what to you seems socially acceptable or what is appropriate based on your experience with that driver. And then at the bottom we saw the stars, and you can leave 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. Hopefully not 1 star, but that's also another way to provide feedback on that driver and the experience that you had with them. So great questions we had. I'm gonna ask Dylan this next one. We had a question about what is the difference between Uber and Lyft, and which is safer slash better.
Um, I I believe Uber was first, right? So that's one thing. They were certainly first to the market with this. So I guess you could call Lyft a copycat, but I think realistically they're both rideshare apps. They're both built on very similar foundations. I would say, and I'm not too familiar with Lyft, but I would assume that Lyft is probably very similar to Uber. Maybe the distinction there or why I would choose one over the other would be location. If I happen to be living in a location where there just are more Lyft drivers than Uber drivers, then yeah, I'm probably going to go with Lyft. But again, that's a probably a rare circumstance of like, oh, I'm living in a small town or something like that, and like the 10 or 15 drivers in this area just happen to use Lyft instead of Uber, then yes, you might just not have that option. But in most places, it certainly would be. Yeah, not again, I haven't used lifts. I'm not sure if they also have these same features, but it seems like Uber is adding a lot of like extra nice features that are really accommodating a lot of people. So maybe Lyft is also doing that, but to my knowledge, they wouldn't be going quite as above and beyond as Uber would be.
Yeah, and what I always recommend is maybe maybe try both or see what you think. I have found that typically I the prices for me at least are better on Uber. And I think Uber has more drivers, but oftentimes, like Dylan says, you might see a car that has a Lyft and Uber, how they have those little signs. They might have both. So drivers might be using both as well. So really a great question. I think we had another one about the evaluation. Is the evaluation for Uber anonymous or is it under your account? Um, Dylan, do you wanna speak to that a little bit? I imagine that's
Evaluation.
the rating the driver at the end. If I'm
Oh, you're wondering if like if you rate a driver, are they seeing the rating that you gave, or is it anonymous? Is that the question?
yes.
Okay. I think it's anonymous, but if you rate them as soon as you get out of the car, then they're gonna know that you rated them. But I know you can also wait. Like if you waited, 30 minutes or so and then rated them and tipped them, then they'd probably have a different rider by that point and maybe don't know exactly who it was. But yeah, I don't think when you rate them it says, "Oh, Cindy rated you 3 stars." Like I think it is just. Am I wrong there, Cole?
So I would have to check that. I do know that the tip is associated to you. So I've tipped a driver, and the driver I'll get a notification that says the driver thanked you for your tip. So there's a connection there. Um, and I hope that answered your question, Shiona. Feel free to ask another one. And then Dylan, if you'd like, what we can do is if you want to pull up the survey at the end and the presentation, and what I'm super excited to share is uh, what we were able to get was a really cool discount code from Uber. So if you are interested in giving it a try, or even if you have an account but maybe you haven't given it a ride in a while, they did provide us with a discount code. It is Tech Connect 50, which we will also share in our email. I think it was on the introductory email as well and on our Eventbrite. But feel free to use that in order to it's actually a promotion. So you would go into the app and you can add it to your wallet. So you'd click on the wallet and then a promotion coupon, and you type in Tech Connect 50. So you can get, I believe it's 50% off on your next ride, uh, up to a $26 ride. So you can get up to $13 off your next ride. So I will certainly be using that at some point. Um, and we are at I'm seeing 10:54, so we've got about 6 minutes left. What I'm going to do is we would love to ask everyone if you would to please let us know about this class. If you have any feedback about the presentation, any feedback about the video, or even about the Uber platform in general. I just shared that right in the chat right now. So please, if you could, or you can feel free to scan this QR code. This QR code is more so tailored to Dylan and I, whether you found that our presentation was helpful. And yeah, and we can answer any questions. I see that we have talking about our next webinar, June 25th at 10 a.m. So if you have any thoughts on what would be helpful, if you'd rather, on the next webinar, learn about downloading the app, or if you'd rather us dive into some frequently asked questions, or, to show another video, please let us know. I'd also love to hear what are your concerns at this point? Or do you feel ready to ride? Or do you still have some concerns about booking or about the digital experience or about safety and security? All of this information and all of this feedback, that is anonymous, but we'll be providing it directly to Uber so that they can continue to improve the platform and helping make it more accessible for older adults.
I do see I do see that Lisa wasn't able to make some of it. We're actually going to be sending out the recording for this presentation, so you'll be able to watch the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. And sorry that you cannot make it, but we'll also, like we said, on June 25th at 10 a.m., we'll have the next iteration of our Uber series. Alrighty. Any other questions from the crowd? What a great group we've had. Um, Quite the following today. That's so awesome. Definitely watch. Thanks. Thank you, Shiona. Those were some great questions. Adrelli, hope you have a great weekend as well. I love simple mode. Make it easy. Awesome. Yes, simple mode is definitely helpful.
And if you do want to see any of our other materials, classes, things like that, we do have other options for that. We have an app, STC Learn. I'll put that here in the chat as well. Um, Essentially, this app it holds all of our class material, or a lot of our class material. More to come there. It's got a lot of our videos, some interactive practice, things like that. Just a really useful thing to see, not only when our next upcoming classes will be, but also just other materials and places for you to learn and practice. So, and again, that's another thing that's pretty new here. So we would love to see what kind of features you all would like to see in that app, what you would how you would find that easier to use, And again, that is called STC Learn. You can find that in your App Store or Google Play Store if you're on Android.
Yes. So Lisa, you mentioned STC app. So depending on what kind of device you have, if you have an iPhone, you can go to that app store and just type in STC Learn. And the cool thing is, oftentimes people ask us if we could share the presentation, the PowerPoint, the handouts. We put all of that information on our smartphone app. So not only does downloading the app give you some practice, it also gives you access to all of our educational materials. And then finally, for anyone that does want to reach out to us directly, I'm going to share our organizational contact email. Feel free to contact us or to email us at info@srtechconnect.com, and we will be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. All right. I see. Yes, I see. Okay, Sandy. Thanks, Sandy, for sending that. I see we have about 6 or 7 Adrellis in the chat, so perhaps a link was shared, linked to her account. But thank you all. Thanks to the 6 Adrellis that are here for joining as one one
I thought
person.
she was pretty vocal in this webinar. I'm like,
Alrighty, well, it is 10:59 PST. We'll hang on for about another minute or so for any other questions, but for everyone else that's leaving, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I saw Rupert sent us a message. Rupert, thank you for joining in. That's so great. And everyone be well. Take care.